All right, let's dive right in. We're taking a hard look at the very near future of artificial intelligence, and specifically something called Agentic AI. These are the absolute key shifts that, if you're a business leader, you need to have on your radar, like yesterday. Because 2026, it's right around the corner.
So let's kick things off with a number that should really grab your attention, 40%. Yeah, you heard that right. According to Gartner, that's the projected failure rate for agentic AI projects. The stakes here are incredibly high. Why? Well, it's a perfect storm of escalating costs, fuzzy business value, and just plain weak risk controls.
So that leads to the million-dollar question for any leader, any team, really anyone in the professional world. How do you make sure you're on the right side of that statistic? How do you guarantee your AI initiatives actually succeed when so many are set to fail? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
Now, before we get any further, let's make sure we're all on the same page. Agentic AI is not just another chatbot. Not even close. We're talking about systems that can autonomously take action. They make their own decisions. They run through complex workflows, all without a human constantly looking over their shoulder. Think of it this way. It's a shift from AI as a tool you use to AI as a teammate you work with.
So, where does this whole revolution really start? Well, it starts right at your desk. In this first section, we're going to explore how AI literally becomes your coworker, as integrated into your daily life as your email or your calendar. Pretty soon, every single employee, and I mean everyone from the intern all the way up to the CEO, is going to have a dedicated AI assistant. And this isn't just some reactive little helper. No, this is a proactive partner. It's handling HR stuff, managing schedules, automating your communications. It's even anticipating what you need before you realize you need it. And this isn't some far-off dream. Gartner's predicting that 40% of enterprise apps will have these agents built right in by 2026. And you know what? This changes everything about how we work. It's not going to be enough just to be good at your job anymore. Your ability to work with these AI systems, to build a really effective human-machine team, that is what's going to decide your career path. Promotions, new hires, it's all going to hinge on this brand new skill. This quote just nails it, right? Forget those old, tired interview questions like, tell me about a time you faced a challenge. The new interview is going to be a practical exam of your AI skills. Can you actually design a workflow? Can you get multiple AIs to work together to solve a real problem? This is the new standard, the new benchmark for what it means to be talented. But here's where it gets really interesting for employers. There's a real tension here. On the one hand, you've got 30% of companies that are going to mandate AI training because, well, they have to. They need people with these skills. But on the other hand, there's a serious worry that leaning too much on AI might make our own critical thinking skills a little rusty. And that's why a full half of organizations are also going to require AI-free skills tests. They need you to work with the AI, but they also need to know you can think without it.
So we've seen how this hits us on an individual level. Now let's zoom out. Let's look at how this all scales up and completely transforms entire companies into what you could call the autonomous enterprise.
You know, the real game changer here isn't one single super smart AI. It's the ability to coordinate hundreds, maybe even thousands of specialized agents, all working together like a symphony. This is where companies are going to find those massive, transformative efficiencies that are just impossible with a single agent.
Let me make this real for you. Imagine there's a sudden spike in demand for a product. Instantly, an inventory agent is rerouting stock. At the same time, a logistics agent is booking new trucks, and a production agent is adjusting the factory schedule. This whole complex chain of events happens in seconds, completely on its own. No human has to lift a finger. That's the power we're talking about.
And this isn't just happening on a computer screen. We're now entering the age of what NVIDIA's CEO calls physical AI. Humanoid robots are literally walking out of the lab and onto factory floors. They're augmenting workers, tackling labor shortages, and in our research labs, they're designing experiments and speeding up scientific discovery. The intelligence is breaking out into the real world.
But what's powering all of this? I mean, this entire revolution depends on a massive physical foundation of compute power, energy, and security. And that brings us to our final section, infrastructure, the new battleground.
If you want to get a sense of the sheer scale of this, just look at that number. Global investment in data centers is on track to hit $652 billion by 2030. That's not just a budget item. It's a colossal worldwide construction project just to make all of our AI dreams possible.
And that investment leads directly to a huge controversy: power. Right now, Data centers are already sucking up over 4% of all electricity in the US, and that demand is expected to double globally by 2030. It really makes you wonder, are our power grids even remotely ready for this kind of tsunami?
So, as the infrastructure gets bigger, so do the threats. But the whole focus of cybersecurity is shifting, and it's shifting dramatically. For decades, it's all been about protecting data, about firewalling the network. Well, in the new world of agentic AI, the real battlefield is identity. With deepfakes getting scarily good and agents that can be hijacked, you have to protect the agent itself. You have to be sure it's the real deal.
And where does all of this come together? In one place, your web browser. Think about it. All your workflows, all your data, all these agents, they're all running inside the browser. It has, for all intents and purposes, become the new operating system for business. And that makes it the single biggest weak spot, turning browser security into a C-suite board-level problem.
So when you pull all of these predictions together, they all point to one massive conclusion. Intelligence, specifically artificial intelligence, isn't just another app or a feature anymore. It is becoming the fundamental infrastructure, the very backbone of the entire global economy.
Which, of course, brings it all back to you. The companies and the leaders who really get this, who understand this shift, are the ones who are going to lead the next decade. And those who don't, well, they risk getting left behind for good. So the final question to leave you with is this. As you look at your own organization, your own career, what's your biggest challenge in getting ready for this new world?